Greetings and welcome to the Data Armory. In August 2023, there was a groundbreaking announcement of what has been deemed as a groundbreaking innovation, and this is Python in Excel. Now, when we talk about Python in Excel, what are we talking about? From this article by Anaconda, it reads that today Anaconda and Microsoft announced a groundbreaking innovation, Python in Excel, and that marked, according to them, a transformation in how Excel users and Python practitioners will now approach their work. In summary, is that now for Excel users, this innovation opens a new world of data analysis potential, which was previously limited to data scientists and developers. And now within the familiar spreadsheet environment for Excel users, they can now harness Python's power to perform complex statistical analysis with popular packages such as pandas, stats model, and these will enable them to create sophisticated visualizations using matplotlib and Seaborn. On the other hand, for Python practitioners, what this innovation means is that they'll now marry scripts and rich visualizations within the widespread accessibility of Excel, which will enable uninterrupted workflow and make their work easier to share with colleagues who primarily use Excel. So we are going to look at some of the frequently asked questions that have arisen since this groundbreaking announcement was made. And we'll try to look at some of the answers that at least are there. So is Python in Excel the future of data analytics? What do you think? Is it the future of data analysis? We'd like to get your thought on this. This product, the selling point of the product since this announcement has been this, if you have been keen, is harnessing the flexibility of Excel and the power of Python. That has been one of the selling points. That now, because Excel is deemed to be flexible, but was limited because it missed the power that we have in some of the tools like Python. Now they have been harnessed. Now the question is, do you think this flexibility of Python, flexibility of Excel and power of Python being harnessed, will it change the future of data analysis? Another selling point is that advanced data science and common business tools, that now this innovation brings data science, advanced data science, into common business tools. And here common business tools is Excel because it has a wide user base and it missed advanced data science capabilities. So what we mean here is that now this selling point is that Python users, and we have gone through this, is that Python users can now seamlessly combine scripts with advanced visualizations, which enhances the ease of sharing their work with colleagues who predominantly rely on Excel. And on the other hand, for Excel users, it unveils a new realm of data analysis possibilities that were previously confined to data scientists and developers. So while the selling point has been flexibility of Excel and power of Python, we see that also it has been announced to have different advantages to different users to different user bases. Like the Python user base will have this advantage, and the Excel user base will have this advantage that we have read here. Another selling point is that you don't need to install anything when using the py function. In short, is that you don't need to install Python when you will be using Python in Excel. So these are some of the, not all, but some of the strong selling points that have been used. So what does Python in Excel do? What does it do? It helps to create compelling visualizations with captivating plots, thanks to power of Python. It helps to train machine learning models. And what do we mean there? For example, in this article by Valerio Maggio, she looks at how to create your first machine learning experiment with Python in Excel. That is interesting. Now, and she gives an example. You can go and look at it, how to load a machine learning data set. She goes through all that data partitioning and goes through feature analysis too. You can go and look at the article and how she approaches this and answer, do you think this is a feature of data analysis? So what it does is that it's able to train machine learning models, as has been highlighted in some of the articles, incorporates internal data into Python and Excel workflows. That is what it does. And here, what we mean is that it will utilize Excel integrated connectors alongside Power Query to be able to integrate external data into Python and Excel workflows. So that is another capability that it has. Another thing that it's able to do is that it is compatible with all Excel's analytical features, including formulas and charts. And also, outside what they have announced, by basically looking at the innovation, is that it promises to be a great web scraping tool if it will be able to go to that length. It promises to act as a great web scraping tool. Now, what are some of the libraries that have been incorporated? We're just going over this, not in depth, because our major focus are the frequently asked questions that have arisen since this announcement. Some of the libraries which have been incorporated are like Pandas, Stats Model, Matplotlib, which is a visualization tool, Seaborn, which is a visualization tool, scikit-learn, which is a machine learning library, and SciPy for statistics. So these are some of the libraries that have been incorporated or that you'll be able to use in Excel because of the incorporation of Python into Excel. Now, since this announcement, these are some of the questions that have arisen. And one of the first questions that has been asked and that has brought a lot of discussion is that how safe is this innovation when it comes to the threat that is posed by hackers, or how safe is users' data, and what are the security protocols? And at least if you look around, Anaconda and Microsoft have weighed in on this, and these are questions that has been asked again, and many people have said that they don't trust Excel because of security concerns. And if you look at this article by Microsoft, they say that Python runs on the Microsoft cloud. And very many people, again, this off the cuff, is that many people again have asked, why can't I run this locally? But it's Microsoft and Anaconda says that this one, it runs on the cloud, and the reason is this, is that Python in Excel runs the Python code used by Excel in a secure container on the Microsoft cloud with enterprise level security as a compliant Microsoft 365 connected experience. So for those people who wanted it to run locally and at the same time had questions about security, at least this article answers why it's running on the cloud and why, as at now, does not run locally. Is that it has been is that Python Excel runs the Python code used by Excel in a secure, it's being run in a secure container on the Microsoft cloud with enterprise level security. So Python code runs on a version isolated containers built on Azure container instances. You can go and read all this as their answer as to why you should trust the security features that come with this product. And do you think it is an answer that is valid? And can you trade this with your need to have it run locally on your machine? So that is one of the frequently asked questions, and at least one of the available responses. Another frequently asked question is that, can you write proper documentation like in Jupyter notebooks? Because now we have a workbook and the data science community was used to notebooks. at least they were used to notebooks. Now, how can one effectively manage the readability and maintenance of the spreadsheet? More so, as we know with Excel, is that many times when the spreadsheet grows into tens of labs and thousands of rows, it tends to become difficult when it comes to, it tends to bring up difficulty in readability. So how can one effectively manage the readability and maintenance of a spreadsheet as it grows into tens of columns and thousands of rows? And that's what we see here, is that now this innovation, it's about moving from a notebook to a workbook. How will that affect your work? Do you think that according to the features of this product, is it something that will make you move from a notebook to a workbook? So from a notebook to workbook, power up your data science skills with Python and Excel. When you move your data science work from a notebook to a workbook, do you think it will change or it will power up your data science skill? What do you think? You can leave your answer in the comment section below. So from Jupyter Notebook to Excel workbook. The major innovation in Excel is a new PY cell that immediately enables Python in the workbook. You can create a new Python cell in an Excel workbook by selecting a cell and typing PY and using the keyboard shortcut. That is how it works, but we will not be doing it practically. How does it work? So spreadsheets versus notebooks. Now, one thing that you have to bear in mind according to this article is that when transitioning from external Jupyter notebooks to Excel workbooks are the similarities and differences between the two formats, as they have direct impacts on how to organize code and how the code will be executed. I just want to highlight something here, is that both notebooks and spreadsheets are cell-oriented formats. The content is organized into multiple consecutive cells. However, while the spreadsheet model is two-dimensional, that is rows and columns, the notebooks simply unravel in one dimension, that is one single column. Now the big difference when writing Python in workbooks rather than Jupyter notebooks is that Python code contained in cells is automatically hidden, and the content of each cell is automatically replaced by any return value the code produces. If the code has no direct return value, none will be displayed and the default as cell content instead. Now, do you think that will affect your workflow? If you are a data scientist and you are used to notebooks, do you think this feature of Python and Excel, which hides, because here we see that Python code contained in cells is automatically hidden, because we know that when we're working with Jupyter notebooks, it is not hidden. You see the input and you see the output. But here in this case is that the Python code that is contained in cells will be automatically hidden. What do you think? That feature, is it a reason enough to make you shift from notebooks to workbooks? And I'm interested to see how this develops, considering how the data science community has found notebooks to be very important, and more so when you add in the aspect of communication. Do you think that Python and Excel will be able to outdo the communication capabilities of the Jupyter notebook, considering that a lot of reports also have to be written, and notebooks give you all that in a single platform? I'm interested to hear what you think about that. So another frequently asked question is that can it be used by everyone depending on the operating system that they have? But we know that as at now is only available for Windows users, but definitely we expect that it will be rolled out to Linux users and those who use MacBooks. Now, again, we have seen, and the biggest question that has come is that now, how fast will it be to adopt this great innovation? And how fast it will be to be adopted depends on how fast Excel users will be able to learn it, because you see, this is Python that has been brought into Excel because Excel has a wide user base, meaning that those people who have been using Excel and don't have a knowledge with Python programming language, they now have to learn how steep will be the learning curve for it, and how fast will companies be able to climb that curve and be able to incorporate Python into Excel in their workflows in their companies. And to help in this is that at least Anaconda and Microsoft already are giving out courses to help basically Excel users, because if you look at this, it's basically targeted to Excel users because of the wide user base. So Anaconda certified, they have a data analysis with Python in Excel course, which will run from October 2nd to October 6th. It will be 5 2-hour sessions. Now let us look at what they plan to do, and let us see if it will give Excel users another reason to follow that path, or to branch into that path. So this certification, it is Anaconda certified data analysis with Python in Excel, and these are the dates and times and duration and length of the tutorials of the courses. Now, this 5-day series of live courses will leverage your Excel knowledge to jumpstart your Python skills using pandas. Now, note that these courses, they'll only jumpstart. Because I don't think that in a series of in a 5-day series of live courses, someone who is completely green to Python programming language will be able to grasp it and be able to use this efficiently. But that's why it only works to jumpstart. So which means that still there's a learning curve that Excel users have to climb. So it says this 5-day series of live courses will leverage your Excel knowledge to jumpstart your Python skills using pandas as one of the most popular Python packages for working with data. The pandas library provides Python with rich data table functionality. Not surprisingly, skills with pandas are fundamental for analyzing data with Python. So here, at least you know that if you are new to this, is that for you to be able to efficiently use Python in Excel for your data analysis workflows, is that at least you need to know Python, at least you need to know pandas. So there's a learning curve. So the question is that is this, how fast will it be? How fast will it be for Excel users to adopt this? Because at least for data scientists, they at least for a long time, they have been able to read Python workbooks into a notebook. Like for example, you can use pandas to read Python, you can to read Excel sheets into a Jupyter notebook and work with it. Now, what about Excel users who now need to use Python to read data and or to work with data? So there's a learning curve. And another question that has arisen is that, is the certification enough to learn pandas? And at least we say that we'll give some of the answers that are evident. Is that from this, is that this certification only seeks to jumpstart, which means there's still a learning curve. Now, not yet recommended for production use. The innovation is not yet recommended for production use. So what happens since it's not yet recommended for production use? Now, can complex spreadsheets become slow and reliable over time when filtering a large data set? Have you tried this product? Because this one we are not doing a practical example, but we will do that in a future tutorial or in a future video. But for you who have used it, can complex spreadsheets become slow, or do complex spreadsheets become slow and reliable over time, and also when filtering a large data set? And how do you deal with that? Again, another question that has come, is there a compute limit on cloud? Because we have seen that it's running on cloud. Is there a compute limit is there a compute limit now that it's running on the cloud? Now, the system has certain limitations on data size and computation capacity, which will be monitored and modified as needed. So for those who are asking, is there a compute limit? At least there's an answer to this. And if you go to Microsoft Tech community, already you know, as it loads, it is answered that the system has certain limitations on data size and computational capacity, which will be monitored and modified as needed. Now, now already we have seen. You can go and look at this article. It highlights on the limitations. Yeah, what to expect next. As mentioned above, we are releasing Python Excel as a public preview to the insiders beta channel, so you should expect new capabilities to light up as soon. So it means that in as much as there are limitations, you should still expect new capabilities to light up soon. So stay tuned for updates on the following areas: improve editing experience such as autocomplete and syntax highlighting, default repairs, enhance error behaviors, help and documentation, and more. Okay, so for those who will need to learn, if the 5 courses will only jumpstart, at least help and documentation and more is something to expect. In addition, prevent abuse. The system currently has some data size and compute limitations that we will closely monitor and adjust. So for you who are asking, is there a compute limit on cloud? Yes, the answer is there, is that there's a compute limit, and the reason is to prevent abuse. Another question that frequently asked question is that, does it need internet to run? Yes, definitely. It needs internet to run. Some functionality will be eventually gated off for paid license holders. Yeah, these an answer to those who have been asking, is that is it free for all? But we know very well that as at now, some functionality will be eventually gated off for paid license holders. Now, so far to that point, do you think Python Excel is the future of data analysis? Some functionality will be eventually gated off for paid license holders. Again, already one can work with Excel files in Python. So how does it change? Because we have mentioned that is that already data scientists are able to work with Excel files in Python. So do you think these Python Excel will make them leave notebooks and come to workbooks, given that now they can work with Excel files in Python? What do you think about that, given that already there's that capability? So the only thing that it changes is that now Excel users will be able to use the power of Python in Excel, but Python users have been able to use Excel in notebooks. So already one can work with Excel files in Python. So given that capability, do you think there's reason enough for people to shift from notebooks to workbooks? Now again, many companies and people use tools other than Excel. Yeah, do you think, what do you think? What do you use in your company? Are there other tools that you use more than Excel? Or at least off the cuff, you can answer that. And do you think this innovation will make them abandon the tools that they use and come back to Python in Excel? Because the question that as a reason is that will all the companies or will many companies adopt this? Basically, given the fact that many people use Excel, the wide user base of Excel is something that you cannot run away from, as we talked about this great innovation. Again, will the data frames be limited to 1 million rows that Excel is limited by, though? That's a great concern, because you know very well that if you have worked with Excel, is that it's limited to 1,000 rows. And by the way, when you're working with Excel and you are limited to 1 million rows, not 1,000 rows, 1 million rows, what is the workaround? How do you work? How do you work around? Do you partition the data? What is your workaround? You can give your comment in the comment section below. Now, how will this great innovation measure to third-party solutions? Like we know very well that there is PyXLL and Excel Wings, which have been third-party solutions that have brought Python into Excel. And will this innovation replace VBA? Or what does it mean for Power BI analyst? At least some of these questions, and I need your comments in the comment section below. So basically, that is Python in Excel, and those are some of the frequently asked questions that have arisen so far. So what other question do you have? And we have seen that to these questions, there are some open answers to them, at least for someone who was seeking to understand how is this thing, to at least try to understand, get a structure of what this thing is. So basically, that is it, and that is what Python in Excel at least has to offer as at now, because it's something that is still in or under development. So you have a good day.